GFX Blessing, thanks so much for the 3 months, man. Appreciate that. Thank you with the tier 1. Okay, DRX on defense, Bleed on attack.
Then he'll rack up those assists, but if you can force him to
Bree,
have
sleep? Yeah, I'm asleep.
early on, maybe that's when things get a little bit easier. That's what I would love to see from Bleed today. Last time they played Paper X, they focused a lot on A short and B short, but we know on
Well, it's gonna feel weird, man.
Gotta get that teleporter control on the extremities near B main and showers at some point to apply
we
that
got
pressure as the attacker.
I mean, that's the thing about
early cam and a trip just in case they try and walk all the way through.
A long route just to rotate.
Orb down.
And by that point, you know, you're
Orb taken on the left side.
But right now we're starting things off.
I mean, no one spams the left, I
going
guess.
up into B long. Love that Zest is using the Trailblazer just to create a little bit of space, but DRX is very aware of this.
Okay, but what they've already done is they've drawn
A
out the
little bit of
as
pressure,
well.
trying to create a question mark here. They meet too much force and they decide to insta-group up towards A. They got about 10 seconds, not even before 3 people join over towards A itself. Because we just have full info here. The smoke deep, looking a little bit like a... I mean, honestly, the Brim didn't fully commit to it.
The default, but a nice pickup from Scary.
That's a great hit, and now we've got, you know, only a couple players on the site itself. You have that toxic screen that allows them to creep in towards lamps, but also the camera from Foxy.
So, bro, to plant. Oh my. Oh,
it's a triple.
Jesus.
Foxy 9 on the other side as well finds one of his own. They've spotted Darien too. So all it comes
I mean,
down to is the final peak.
it wasn't even too bad. It's like, so they don't have showers control, right? So they go for Lil Bro to plant, and then while he's planting, they want to try and take back site. Because obviously, DRX, the Kings of, I mean, there's a reason we call it DRX smoke, because the Kings are stopping the plant.
You got the 5v4 ready for you, but Bane just
and with no showers control, they're probably just going to get denied plant the whole time, so they want to take back site. Probably need some util, I'm not going to lie, but lovely shots by him.
He was really just trying to hold it to make sure the rest of backup can come in the form of stacks, but he actually just gets 3 for all his troubles.
Great crosshair placement. I mean, again, it's all the information from Foxy 9, but as we head on to the next round,
what are these two trying to do?
You've got that sky smoke, you're picking up the alt orb, you don't want to let Bleed pick that up.
Dude, and this is something that Paper X did so well as well. Okay. This ult orb was free for Paper X on that defender's side. And sure, right now it's Seiko, but
Stacks got chipped down a little bit.
In the upcoming rounds.
In terms of the actual buy, they're allowed 1 death.
They're trading orb for orb, so I like that. But if you keep giving that B space for free, this map gets a lot easier for the defenders.
Just trying to switch things up a little. I do like that Ye was trying to, you know, toss a bit of damage, fire off some Sheriff bullets up against Stacks. But it wasn't too much. It wasn't really, you know, consequential or anything like that. So just biding their time right now, trying to find a bit of space. It's the same creep up, and they're going to spot that tripwire. It's been spotted now. Mako's very much prepared for it. Here comes the Spectre. Oh, what? We are firing off on this.
Oh, man, it might be
weapon right now. Retla able to
might be a convincing one.
With a little classic,
solid
but it's
start.
Gonna be the ace collection
3 away. It's a nice ace.
What is going on with the aces, right? Yesterday, today, we're getting quite a few back-to-back-to-back, but kicking things off nice and easy. 5-1 for Mako, 3-0 for Bane. The controllers are going to get those big impact, especially on the defender side. Ultimates quite early. Now, obviously, yeah, it's the anti-eco. You've got a Spectre in close quarters. And Bleed, I can imagine what they were trying to do is they cut the trap wire, and then they say, okay, don't throw util. We'll just try to get him on an off timing. If Ye doesn't get the kill, we go for the trade. But Mako is on point. Just 1 magazine. That's all he needs.
That spray transfer was, like, masterful stuff. Now you've got
Buzz
Molly on the Outlaw.
We got Outlaw, and only Ye should be able to be one-shot.
Unfortunately, it's not quite going to
yeah,
happen.
and this guy
Bleed
just tanks a
managed to
bullet.
make it work. Darien, unfortunately, though, not quite
Good news is they have a heal.
Can't
res, though. And the knife goes in, and it kind of stops them from taking the full bit of map control. But, I mean, they at least got to here, and they know this is a question mark trade.
Yeah, without that raise, you're going to have to make
sure
that
like
you push
DRX are about to flash
They've already
in.
gotten Shower's control, though. And this is interesting, because
Flash goes
when
in.
there was a Sentinel on the other side,
They clear this back. They re-cleared the question mark in terms of the Dizzy Flash. And then, as soon as the question mark is made,
and I think
the KO flash is going through, and they check it with the Brim.
Love to control short, right? That's all we need to block off until you really tell me that you're
Problem is that they didn't stay here.
I'm not even going to deal with it. No reason to spread myself thin.
Knife goes deep
this
again.
Could bite him. This could bite him in the end.
And then with that, they rotate 3 over.
I mean, these are all the adjustments that come through. And if Bleed does, you know,
if Bleed don't win this round, I'm so worried for them.
Showers take, they might be able to overflood Foxy9.
What a shot, though.
Banking on that CQB duel, but Retla picks him up right off the bat.
Now, this was all off of a fake with the Trailblazer over on B main, so Bleed banking on the fact that it should be a weaker site.
Rotations go through, though. The site is slightly weaker, but let's see if Mako can do anything. It's not quite going to happen because Retla has
looked a lot better.
It's all down to Bane now. He's only got the Incendiary.
This week,
can't even push out. It's
good.
Scary who takes out his counterpart.
Okay, well then.
Played by Bleed. Correctly.
Yeah, the actually.
That Showers has been left
they
open,
hit
right?
shots.
He's been actually pushing through this even in
They
the previous round
hit
as well.
shots.
So now that you've let that go 2 rounds in a row, I imagine Foxy9 starts to maybe put the cam in Showers, or maybe he starts to push out a bit earlier, things like that. If it's not that, at least
Infamous,
sure
of course, bro. Thanks so much,
this
man.
time they tried for a bit of a different play on the anti-eco with the Outlaw over by Hookah. It doesn't work out so well. And Retla, let's give him the props he deserves, because he looked a little quiet in the beginning of this stage, but he has been doing his job as we get to the end of stage 1.
Description.
Right, he's always got those clean mechanics, and as long as he's got the positioning, he's able to strike.
I mean, the
them down
title
as
or the description?
So, on to the next round now, and you're exactly right, Will. I do love the fact that DRX are trying to adjust around this. Maybe it's not Foxy9, he does have the trip up, but you also have Mako, and that's such a big thing, because the Snakebite can delay, but it doesn't matter.
Satcheled
if he just gets the heads up tool against
Satcheled
you.
in to get the kill, got out of there. Double
trips
trips are still here, smokes it down, knife hits 2. Yeah, that's the trip, and he
on
almost
lead
got a
side.
double
There's
from
a
it.
trip.
Yeah, not able to clear that. It's right outside the entrance.
All right, now it gets cleared. Wingman will get the plant down.
It's
unless the shot goes through. Bane will prop up the orbital strike just to deny a bit of space. But unfortunately, the duels aren't quite going DRX's way just yet. Foxy9 still holding up around Dice, able to take down Scary. Retla, they're watching the back, will be able to deny Buzz.
Hey, not bad, man. They forced him down to an eco.
3, 8 rounds in the mag. He flicks over. He's able to get the 3rd kill, but not quite.
I still like the DRX are trying some new stuff, man.
DRX any comeback.
They're like one of the teams that is like using. I saw this on Ascent as well. Like they're still using relatively default comps to an extent. Maybe not like what's meta at the moment, but kind of default-ish. But they have a lot of new things that they're trying tons of new setups.
Still send the wingman, so it's a little hard to tell exactly where the plan's coming through. And DRX greets
Bruni, hello mate. My sleep schedule. Game's on. Be awake. Game's not on. Be asleep. Basically, man. We get a day off tomorrow, though, so that's pretty cool.
If you leave that space open, this Bleed will punish it. Yeah, so
Pretty
now we're
much
seeing them on that eco, bunch up towards Showers,
blanket.
bunch up towards Hookah,
Payment.
and then you're just leaving B main open this time with the Cypher utility.
And you really gotta admire it, Will. I mean,
Trying harder than T1 Pro. Dude, you know what's nuts as well? This is like fine compared to what I did when I was coaching. My coaching stuff was unhealthy.
Now they're adjusting back towards B. And
I imagine Imi's similar though. The guy likes to grind.
They've adjusted their positions because now they're on eco. They don't quite have the resources to fight B long, to really control Hookah. They're trying to with a crossfire setup right now, but Bleed is very aware.
Yeah,
this is healthy.
A lot of damage. Now Stack's got a nice
Good
tag
point.
on TA as well, but the heals come back up and
full stack.
I mean, this is DRX reading that Bleed. They will stick together, right? They're not too complicated in their calls.
Okay. But here comes the Thrash.
Oh, boys. Tell you what, though, they ain't getting out for this.
Good job by DRX.
They have to cancel this. You gotta cancel this.
Trying to get the wall bang, but it's not
Listen to what's going on. You gotta cancel it. Everyone's shooting at you.
Hear how many weapons there are on the side. If you're Bleed, if I'm Bleed, you've
You're
got
canceling
weapons.
this.
Go in as a death ball through the TP. Yes, you have no information on the A side.
Yeah.
There they go.
Yeah, but you heard minimum 3 sheriffs being
Stacks.
fired off.
I mean, they
As long as you
can't.
stick
They can't
together,
stop
this should be safe.
a plan or anything.
Should be able
At
to
least
make
get
it
the
work.
ult out of them.
Curious about Scary's positioning, though. I mean, Stacks is. He peeks out at the right time, able to take down Ye. But the spike plan goes through regardless. Daria now rears his sights back over the short.
Honestly, at least they cancelled, man.
The rest of DRX trying to go for the high and low peak. It doesn't quite work.
It was like the easiest cancel of any IGL's life, but
Scary is too darn good. Bleed, take the lead.
Listen, this is what Bleed is good at. They have great individual players. If you stick together, you're gonna be okay for the most part. Are you gonna be the
think
strongest
Bleed
team in
is
Pacific?
redeemable?
Not
I mean,
yet.
I think the
But
start is so
listen, we
bad
all
that they
have
don't
heard
make
even
champs
from the players
already.
from the coaching staff that they're working on the
They can,
basics
I
right
mean,
now.
they
They're
can make
trying
it
to
look
come
better.
online as a team. They've had to
Their
go
start
through
is
roster
their
changes
start is a
time and
nightmare,
time
dude.
again,
And
starting
it's like
from
you
last
mess up
year.
heavy in
And so you
stage
keep
1,
it
you kind of
simple,
wrecked
and you
for
say,
the whole
okay,
year.
You know what? It's just like too much util rather than trying to go in with
Kind
some
of like
fancy
Koi,
set
similar
execute, try to
situation.
go in for some
Like
crazy
to get
trades.
6th
We just say,
place
your
to
3
make
weapons,
playoffs to
sure.
stage
Then it's
2.
5v2 on the other side. We rotate, and you stick as 5. You don't try to go too deep into the site. I love what Bleed did in that previous round.
Deathball strat, you know, keep it simple. They watch each other's 6s. Everything works out because, again, it's up against an eco, so they feel confident and safe enough to make it happen. But this time, adjustments out from DRX. You've got the Sky Smoke outside of showers now. What does that say, Will?
RQV.
You know what's interesting about this is that it seems that Bleed's game plan coming into today was target Foxy 9. Right? It's not about B-Main.
Damn, dude.
Yeah,
that's kind of nice at the moment. A little bit risky from Mako, but you would imagine he at least got the kill.
You know what people are thinking? They're thinking, well, we've seen this kind of play done
before. So far, big buy rounds, getting first pick.
Right? To have these extra layers, to have a couple more options early on, right at the 1 minute mark, this is big. Now they're going for the execute.
Again, you know, you mentioned it. Focus on players like Foxy 9 or extremities of the map. If they can find those numbers, if they can deny those trades, that is huge for Bleed. Now Ye has the showstopper, props it up.
Clear it.
Bane's trying to stay hidden inside of the Sky Smoke.
No way. No way.
Planter, and he does. He actually takes down Ye and Scary. A double kill now going through. Spike planted though, so there is a bit of a hold coming out from Bleed. Stacks trying to get a bit of space up around lamps. He has to be very careful. There might be a bit of utility tossed his way, and unfortunately he's not quite able to deal with it just yet.
Wingman is kind of strong, bro. He's got the old, got the 180 POV. That's kind of nuts.
And 2 targets left, but
got the old turret POV.
He's running out of time. He's thinking about the save.
Listen, I've been giving Bleed their medals, but for now, we got
solid range on him.
This guy is so good. Sure, he's not going to be able to clutch up the round with an ace, but he is clean. And how does he do it coming back into this team after so long? His first time on Tier 1 against some of the best players around the world and in Pacific for sure. But overall, this plan to target showers, make Foxy 9 uncomfortable. They even get Mako as a bonus. But this is Bleed's plan. They recognize that we can shake up Foxy 9. He's always on his own on these lurks. He's always on his own in these anchors. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's the weakest player, but if you break it, you absolutely break the weakest spot on the map. It's a good read from Bleed.
Very good point.
Yeah, and looking into the buy rounds, it's looking great. It is looking great.
But that's the other thing as well. I mean,
DRX gotta stop giving away first kills. This one wasn't as bad. Mako got a little bit unlucky, but
to go for that peak, you know, even when you're
wanted to deny Jay getting the orb. Okay, speaking of orbs, Bars, if he gets a kill, gets his ult, and he is going walking. Showers push.
You've got a couple of sheriffs. You've got a Vandal.
I feel like Showers push against the double initiator comp working a lot more. And I don't know if it's just teams. I don't know if it's the fact that you need more people to burst and you want to be bursting instead of like map control.
It's a tag.
Ooh, not too bad. He actually gets the info, and he's prepared for the hit. The Stinger shots will fire through. Swaps over to the Vandal that he's picked up, and now Foxy 9 is going on a tear. The Fox in the hen house again.
Bro, how many aces are we seeing in this? Okay, silent shout out to Buzz. But Buzz gets the info to make sure that this can happen. Lots of numbers to distract for Foxy.
This trap was expertly set up by DRX, and they
give me the full
right?
POV.
Push out of A showers to make sure that they know that this is going to be a B hit. The tripwires, they're further into the site. So
yeah, man, the old cages as well, the old king cages.
You're letting the rays get in because you're watching with the cam.
Oh, that was actually sick. Fair play, man.
Back and forth. The coverage is there through the smokes. It's a good round from DRX.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, the king cages that kind of separate these two and just mean you can rotate everywhere. They're so strong. Yeah, I mean, Dog saw this. Dog saw this. No one's gonna be swinging that corner anymore.
Outside of this, I believe, even though it gets taken out at a distance.
Trailblazer, yeah.
Yeah, so they're a little wary. You can see they're really keeping their distance away from showers. Now, I do want to say the previous round, Bleed going to that B site was, I think, a good call, right? They absolutely targeted showers a couple rounds in a row.
Foxy 9, yeah, this role supports him. This role suits him, but like,
yeah, I feel like that's what they want to do.
In a way that I think it wouldn't suit him. We've seen this with a lot of duelists where it's like, duelist into sentinel. If you don't have discipline, this is like the best, fastest way to learn discipline. Like if you're a set overheater, like this role is so good because you're gonna find out fast and you lose your team games fast if you're doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing. So this is like the best way to kind of fast learn.
gonna be that B
And he looks great on it. He looks so comfy.
Prepared for the hit. Bane is supporting him with the off angle. 7 rounds left in the mag. And again, the choke point is just too darn tight. Bleed cannot rush out of hookah.
You got to save here, I think. It's a 2v4, only 20 seconds, yeah. The only way to get to a site is to make a lot of noise, and your credits aren't looking that great. I mean, most of you will scrape by in the next round, but obviously Darion only sitting at 600. Left. And while Bleed had a lead, they're going to have to allow that tie up. So with this default, we go back to seeing the weaknesses that Bleed still have to deal with, right? Because he can't go with crazy mid-rounding.
I mean, honestly, if Foxy doesn't get some of these kills, like first kill there if it goes the opposite way.
Once it's the default, then they wait, they rotate to the other. That second time that you see that utility
this one didn't feel too bad. You can't really. I've never really seen a team try and. I mean, I have, but I mean, everyone else. Normally, when I see this from Hookah, like a 5-person exec from Hookah, it's like straight up burst, whereas this was like util into burst, and I don't think that works from Hookah here. Like as soon as the util comes in, you just get that extra heads up, and then the others just have such a hard time getting out of here. Yeah, I mean that's when the brim smoke actually comes down.
Trying to play it safely. It allows for DRX to push out a little bit. It allows for DRX to gather information on the other hand, and that's why Buzz does what he does. That's why Foxy9 with those spy cameras is always prepared for these hits coming through.
Yeah, I mean, you have double initiator on the side of Bleed.
In the textbook, yeah, we're seeing a lot of 5-person exec
I would love to see them try a couple rounds to be a bit more aggressive with
it's not super common. Teams used to do it when people are like heavy holding on to long.
Early on, so they can't hold on
like it started becoming a little bit of a thing when teams were like heavy fighting long and they would just exec from Hookah on your own without long control, but I don't recommend it. Like, if you can avoid it, it's good to do. Long control and showers controls is so important. We're actually seeing a lot of teams at the moment on attack bind just struggle with it.
Darion was one away from his, thrash, but at the same time, the rest of DRX,
like everyone's focusing on the fact that double initiates is just burst. So they feel like they don't need map control, or maybe it's harder to get map control with it because you don't have like a sky dog.
Cycle of that ultimates on both sides, as we only have 4 rounds left in the half. So curious to see. I mean, Bleed, they haven't been giving up all the ult orbs so far. They've always tried to just give one and then put pressure on the other, maybe take it for themselves. So it's a good improvement. But if you play that way in this coming round, you getting your ults online won't mean much, right? Because it'll just get countered by the other side. So curious to see, is it a boost?
I think a ton of duelists would enjoy it. As in Sentinel, dude, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. But so like you have so much setup for you. You gotta think your whole setup a lot of the time, majority of the rounds is for you to get kills. And
with the new roster and whatnot. But
especially on attack, it's fun. Like you have so much freedom. You have a good read for like the game and timings, and like when you should push. Like you can have a lot of freedom.
They don't run out of steam too soon. Now that operator online for DRX, that makes things even easier, right? You just set up that op on one side. You see it over on Showers. Then it's just Cypher setups everywhere on B with the KO as well. Because again, you have the operator, then the Viper over on the A side. You can hold on to a lot of util if you're DRX.
That's why they're so comfortable right now. I mean, look at Buzz. That's such a great angle to hold with the op too. Nobody can peek against him.
Okay, so they break camera.
They're gonna have to be very careful with that.
Control.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Yeah.
I mean, Retla had a timing. That jump was not a bad idea from Retla.
DRX right now is so good at clearing this. Like, I feel like Bleed needs to, once they take a bit of map control, I think they might have to leave one at one point. Every time we're getting a knife over towards her and it just clears insta. Does look like we're taking the TP and sending it, and...
Trying to target the Showers. Oh, the op misses! Wow. Here comes the Thrash.
Although he misses, he was fast with the blast packs just to get away.
Dude, that molly from Mako is so good.
Look at this orbital strike from Bane as well. Buys a bit more time. The entire site engulfed in smokes. Mako holding the angle just to watch up around lamps, but Bleed at the very least.
Bro, Lil Bro's tanky as well.
And along with Wingman and everything else, the plant goes through. Double flash up now, and then Bleed peeks out. At the same time, because the spike is planted, because they have the control, Viper's Pit goes down. Scary holds from lamps and ensures that DRX does not make it out any further. They're going to have to walk into the pit. And can they survive? No, sir. Retla denies any form of entry. It's all down to Foxy9, 1 against 3. Tries to find them, can't see anything, walks past the spike, spots a little barrel, takes down Retla. Now turns back around, but again, it's just too many angles to cover. Scary swings
impressive,
out from
man.
Showers.
I mean, they had a good sense of the double flash. Double flash sended over towards back of sight. That was pretty much everything. Once they got the back of sight kill, Vado trade and got back Viper ult, it was done.
And even though they get stopped, the orbital strike was great from Bane. It's what keeps
the kill before that, basically.
and Buzz alive. However, Bleed doesn't panic. They wait, and I love the double flash. The Dizzy and then the pop flash over with the guiding light by Zest as well. He doesn't, convert it into more than 1 kill, but it's enough just to hold them at bay and allow Retla
not
to set
winning
up
a
the pit.
pistol,
It's a good plan from Bleed,
5-4.
but now they got to deal with the ultimates on the
Close
side of
to,
DRX. They only
close
have
to
the
making
orbital
a
strike on their
Miko.
side. I mean, again, when you have that orbital strike, it's great for the post plants. You could go for a rush, and it looks like they're trying to put some earlier pressure this time around.
It's not too bad. I mean, it's one of those rounds where you feel that impact from Coach Legia's timeout. Actually, good job from Bleed. But like you mentioned, those ultimate cycles now from DRX, they have to watch out for it. Trying to go in for a bit of a rush, but I think, it's just a little bit too hot from DRX. That utility from Stacks just spots out everything.
I would love to see Retla right now go back to Showers on the minimap. Go back, clear that entrance out, and see if you could go for another rotate. You still have a minute on the clock.
Okay,
just sticking around here with no audio is not going to fake out a team like DRX. And what's more so is they can just hold on to their defaults.
Oh, okay.
Well, that changes things a bit.
Not a bad idea. And
Stacks
again,
position.
he's just that good. Goes in for the dive right now, but yeah, Stacks right underneath the window. Actually able to
good
take
luck
down
to Buzz. His teammate's not going to be here for a while.
For a little bit because Darren able to find back a trade. But Bleed does not want to commit quite yet.
Oh, they're actually going back with the lockup.
Can he get the heads up duel against
Now what
Mako?
do they do? They're taking the TP, so they're going to full commit.
Johnny on the spot with this. He's ready for any hit that
and
comes
he's got
his
a
way.
camera.
He knows his role, and he's going to perform it to the best of his ability. You've got those trips, you've got the off angle, and he goes in for the spray. But going for
Dude, Lil Bro is having mad impact this game. I'll give him that. Lil Bro's been responsible for so much.
It's all down to Buzz. And it's a little bit tricky.
Slap on Showers.
From the round back of Market.
Oh my god.
And he's kind of spotted from Showers, but dives straight in just to eliminate Darian. Back down up against Zest now, ex-teammate. How do you make this work? Zest is trying to take the initiative against him. Sneaks outside of Showers now, and Buzz has no earthly idea. A little bit of a ring around the rosy moment. Buzz just watches the angle. And he actually nails it down. Buzz!
Dude, just the second bit of doubt came in.
But what that meant
A
was
little bit of doubt came in there. It's creeping towards the right. The timing was kind of outrageous.
I mean,
it looked good on paper.
I mean, it did, but in hindsight, yeah, right? It makes
Bleed,
it tougher.
I mean, they
should
they force into this? These two get really wrecked.
If he actually just wrapped around to backside, yes, and he doesn't have
this
to deal with the
reposition was
50-50.
lovely, though, from Mako.
But Zest, in the heat of the moment, just wanted to make sure he checks the spike nice and clear, nice and early. And at that point, doesn't have a clue.
Just, again, ex-teammates.
Stacks a little mad. He said he's getting a little pissed off. I mean, listen, I think if you're a DRX, you should be pissed off. Letting Bleed get away with a 4-2 lead, a 5-4 lead in the first half on the attack, where Bleed, I mean, they're the ones who have to make the decisions, and they're not known for the fastest of decisions. I mean, this is not where DRX wanted to be 11 rounds in.
On their own map pick as well. I don't think they expected this whatsoever, but I mean, Bleed are just doing such an incredible job. Still a little bit tricky though at times. Again, Buzz was just an absolute monster in that final clutch. On to the next, and Bleed go back to a bit of that, full squad march upwards.
Okay,
DRX trying
they're not
to
winning this round, right?
Yeah, but the timings are
look what's going on. 3-pass and Stack, early info with the cam.
With the poison orb. It is just
got kill trip,
right now on the side
good positions, still got one more smoke and a molly.
It's a good read from Mako. He gets 1, he gets 2.
And then Foxy9 on the other side as well. Bane coming into support.
This kill at the back.
Too much for Bleed. The death ball doesn't quite work out because DRX gets the read on it. DRX knows how to play off the smoke timings, and they read every situation so darn well. Buzz now going through the showers. You've got the pop flash from Stacks, and Zest is in again in this situation where he's up against these old teammates. Feels that it's a little bit too much, and he
Double
holds
flash
back.
still?
Goes in for
How's
that
this guy
guiding
got
light.
both
A
his
second
flashes
one
during
tossed
this?
out now. But again, Stacks is just trying to tap the spike. Zest doesn't care, doesn't get phased by it. Now
but
hears it, and Buzz is just
Damn.
constantly just stick it through.
The
Well.
mind games are too good for Buzz.
Well.
He fakes it once, but he'll stick it the second time.
What just happened?
I can't blame Zest, man. I can't blame Zest. The previous round lives rent-free in his head. He just doesn't want to make the same mistake. He doesn't want to wrap around the wrong side.
That's so funny.
Can't do this.
Oh, dude,
It's
Buzz
so
just
sick when it's like
straight up
against your old
told
teammate
Zest
as
to
well.
Sit down with that play. Holy.
And maybe
this is my
Zest is thinking
elevator.
like Buzz
I'm gonna
never
step out
sticks.
and in whenever I
Maybe
want
Buzz
to.
is thinking this guy never peeks
Jeez.
this. Or
That's-
maybe
that's
Buzz is thinking that he
unfortunate.
thinks I'm never gonna stick.
Oh, you see Buzz. He's happy with that decision. He knows exactly what he did.
That was a close
Might
round
have
still though.
died at the very least, you
I
know,
mean,
so
And
It's
if
an
Leeds,
absolute
if Leeds actually
kill.
started
It's an
winning some
absolute brain
pistols
destroyer
recently,
from
they
Buzz on
would
that one. That hurts.
they
if
wouldn't be
you're
looking
Zest.
too bad.
hey, but still, 6-5.
That Paper X game,
This is not
was it Paper X?
one-sided match.
That was a
by any
nightmare because they
means
got
of
no
that word.
pistols.
And
But
now
overall, they actually still
Leeds
kind of
stand a chance
did
of turning
okay.
this into a 6-6. Picking off
It
that
wasn't
early
great, but
hit
it wasn't
up
like
against Buzz.
it was still the
Scary,
best we've seen him play.
managing to win out in the one-on-one.
Oh, that
Foxy
drop.
9, he actually made use of the toxic screen to get the drop on Retla.
Yeah, I mean, Retla, he read the timing. I don't blame Retla's decision, but the drop from the box messes up his aim a little bit. Can't stabilize in time. Wasn't quite expecting it, it seems. So now overall a 4-4. Obviously, Buzz getting taken out nice and early by Scary over by that B side. Forces Stacks to have to sit there. But again, Stacks can sit on his util. And while Bleed's been overall getting some good rounds, you know, I worry in the future, right? Also for DRX, if they're not tested for what happens when you run out of the util, curious what's going to look like in the
And
future.
here comes the ult sender.
You're gonna have to wonder about that in the second half, but for now, the last round of the first. And you have to imagine DRX is trying to set up for stalls, delays, and maybe a bit of a retake hit as well. Stacks has the ultimate. The Viper's Pit, although it was down, Ye just denies it completely, along with his showstopper. Foxy 9,
Guys, you
though,
got
still trying to
15
stay
seconds
hidden
to
inside of the
plant.
smokes. Bane
What's
actually
going
finds
on?
two kills through the smokes up against Ye as well as Darian. Now Foxy 9 swings out, gets the drop on Zest. It's all down to Scary, the Clutch Master.
Just as I
1v3,
complimented you,
can he
you
make
pull
it
out
happen?
this
He
round.
doesn't have the time,
Yeah,
and DRX
and this
just
looked the
stay
same as their
away.
pistol, right?
Coming in with the swings
And
at
I
the
don't
last
like this
second.
one.
It's a 7-5
Like
first half
this
for
overall,
DRX.
Oh, Bleed.
this overall play
Kind of
where they
misread
like
the
do the
situation
normal
there on that last
smokes,
round, think that
and
they're not gonna
then
be able to clear
they
the
know the
site fast
DRX
enough,
gonna be
so they wanna
heavy
do a
focus
full
on
wraparound
denying the
into
plant.
the back site, but
They try and
that
go
is
all
an
the way
absolute
back of sight.
bottleneck, and they just get straight trapped in there.
I
with a
don't
little bit of
really
panic
like
sprinkled
it.
in. They step out one by
Fine with
one,
the
and Bane's
overall
there to
idea
pick
if they
up
had
just
like
he did
flashes
in
of
the pistol. So it ends the same
the
way it
truck
started.
or something,
DRX
anything like
picking up
this.
the last round,
It just feels like they have no util and they just dry
barely inching out
face.
with the 7-5 lead.
It's like those great reads again from DRX. They're prepared for any potential outcome. Stacks, like you mentioned, just sitting comfortably on the B site. He had his utility, he had his null command, and he knows he doesn't have to do too much. Meanwhile, Mako, like getting the read on it, dropping that Viper's Pit that early on was great timing.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Again, DRX, while Bleed has made some good reads on their own, obviously,
Monica with
DRX
the 16 months.
overall, in
Thank you
terms
so
of
much.
util,
Thank you
in
with the
terms of
tier 1.
Overall, their timings, they were never quite pressured, right? Bleed just made some good decisions. In
Can I
their
do a
own
handstand?
realm.
I mean,
But
on
we'll
paper,
see.
yeah,
DRX now
but
the attack. They'll have
it's
the initiative
been.
to really
I
try
don't
to
know,
make
dude.
Bleed's life
It's been too
miserable
long.
on the defense, especially with no
On paper,
sentinel.
yeah.
That's a big weakness. You're gonna have to try to push out to gain some space.
I would say it's
You
over
got those two
50% that I
initiators,
can.
You can try to get information off of some of that utility.
But
I have to imagine Bleed's gonna
it's
try
been
to
a
do whatever they
long
can,
time
but
ago, so
again,
now I'm not too
this
sure.
was one of those sides where they kind of struggled against Paper Rex. They only won one round on that defense.
On
against
paper, as in
Paper
like I
Rex
used
on the
to, is what
attacking
I'm
side.
saying. Like in
So,
theory, yeah.
They're gonna have to do whatever they can.
It's like
I
in
don't think
theory,
they
sure.
can,
In
like,
theory, this should be a good team.
Yeah,
But
with
then
the
sometimes
touchscreen
it's just
set up,
not.
they're
It's the
trying to
same
make it
thing.
look
In
like
theory,
the
I can
default's always the same for
handstand,
their
but
pistol, right?
maybe
so
I
that
can't.
They're going to try to go for a TP
It's so
play,
long that I
that
don't
they'll
know.
try to do some sort of pressure over onto A Showers. But quite frankly, this is a good screen, but DRX reads it. They actually just meet him 3v3. It's a shootout.
It's a shootout that DRX wins. I mean, Bane able to pick up the first one, and then although you have a couple of players from Bleed trying to trade, it doesn't quite work out. There's a little bit of space from Zest right now, and he's able to push outside of showers. But guess what? DRX has already made their way into the site.
Yeah, this is a bit of a rough one. I mean, Foxy9 even just digging
Bro, this team
deep,
can't
even
win
though
pistols.
the round is pretty much set and
Someone
done
give this team
already
some
with the post-time
pistols.
situation right now on A. It's a good hold from Zest, but look at this. Foxy9 knows exactly what he's doing right now. He just needs to
They'd
buy
be having a
time,
much
right?
better time
They
with some
already pretty much have
pistols.
the round secured. All he needs to do is tie someone up in showers and make them scared of that flank around.
Unbelievable. I love that from Foxy9. And of course, it's quick work from the rest of
The
DRX, just
anti-GE.
holding out around the
Yeah,
spike,
they need
knowing
to get some GE
it's up
pistols.
to Bleed to make the move. I mean, I feel like a Foxy9 from last year might have made that peak. And if you think about it, these two players, Foxy9 was the one who kind of got subbed in for DRX, and Zest had to step out a little bit last year.
Sure. I mean, yeah, they were trading places a little bit, but Foxy9, he's come to his own for sure.
Yes.
I mean, I think, you know, I don't think we need to talk about last year anymore, right? He's really shaking that off. Obviously,
It's
big
three
road change as well. And
Three-person
he's been
shower
finding that
swing
patience
into a
as that
three-person shower swing.
This is what
It's a
Stacks
little
said
bit
there, what I
unlucky,
think
give him
there's-
that.
I think there's a
Tried
lot
to-
on Stacks' mind
tried
right
to
now.
number
He
over
really
one.
wants to send a message over to this Bleed squad. I mean, it's not just Zest. You know, it's Yay, it's Bleed overall. DRX trying to send a message to the rest of
Contact
the Pacific
flash,
as well.
and then do we go close
Zest
Dizzy
in a
over the
good
top?
position. It's a peek from
Contact
Retla.
flash,
DRX
Dizzy
should
over
know
the
this,
top.
though. Yeah, the anti's there.
Nice.
Good little flash, but the peeks out along with the classics. The range not quite there. Retla able to pick up the only one. DRX makes it a quick trade, and of course they still have the option to go through a teleporter if they want to. Foxy9 able to take control of the showers. He does have that ghost. They're trying to get the drop onto Retla, and they will. The dive in works great from Buzz.
Ooh.
The ghost might not be able to connect onto Scary just
Hold
yet, so
up.
Bleed able to fight back. They've got those sheriffs, but as soon as they peek out, it's easy work for Bane. A couple of bursts, and it's going to be a 9-5.
Pretty good damage.
I mean, it's some damage. Obviously, two
Yeah, no,
vandals
it's
will
pretty
still be
good
carried
damage.
over. DRX
They could have one
big
death right.
investment
Oh no,
going
sorry,
with
two
the
deaths they
triple
could buy
rifle buy in
back.
that
Hey,
previous
that's
round,
not
I
bad though.
believe,
So
they'll be
still get
okay
4
with
guns
it.
into it. They got
Not
one
getting
gun
any free
though.
upgrades either. But this set play early on, right? Again, really utilizing the double initiator. At the very least, Bleed is sticking to the strengths that their comp has. If only they had something other than classics, that could have actually been some more kills off of that Dizzy. Unfortunately, yeah, they can't go for it. And Buzz just asking for the plant as well to make sure that they bank up the creds. Now, what I really liked there was Stacks' flash over the wall was in perfect timing for Buzz. I mean, DRX continued to impress in their timings.
Again, I mean, the way that they work together, the way that they time everything together.
How many
just
games would
shows
Bleed have to win
why they are so strong,
for
why you
Split 2 to have a
cannot
chance to
allow them
qualify? I mean, I
set
don't
up
know,
for
man. They're gonna
such
come
set
6th
plays.
out of 11 teams, so
Are, being a little bit passive, and
around
they're
around
doing that
5.
because they want to hold on to any advantage.
They
that
kind of
have.
got to win
This is
like
their
every
buy round
game
right
in
now, and
Split
they
2.
have to make it count. At the same
And then
time,
even then,
DRX
it's not
wants
really
to
secured.
complete this entire map as quickly as possible, but Ye's not going to allow that, not too easily. Finds the drop against Buzz, so no more dive entries for DRX. Foxy9, though, doesn't care. Pushes out of showers on his own. The great pop flash from Stacks just to support him, and it gives them a lot more space.
He's swinging
Spike
this.
plant goes down now
Oh
for
my
DRX.
god, look at his timing as well.
Lucky to stay alive there. That's a bit of a choke point, but he'll get out. You've got the region coming in from Zest.
Okay, what's Retla's plan?
Still a 1-2 split, though, for Bleed, right? And obviously, yeah, it's double initiative. They'll try to do what they can with the pop flash to take control of backside. But Retla's got to start to
Okay.
run here.
They've managed to push a couple players back, and Retla might be able to
Yeah, and this trip
catch
might save
Bane
him.
like a deer in headlights if he finds the timing on it.
Yeah, but there's
Or
the trip.
There is that trip.
That's where he is, because the molly sounds.
Fires off the
Oh,
incendiary at the right time, peeks up again. Darian and Zest continue to push up.
Wingman
Just
to
buying the
defuse.
attention
Gotta
away.
just
They
wait a
actually
little
managed to
bit.
make it work, but they
Wingman
got
to
work against
defuse.
the spike. Bane is just toying with them, playing around
Oh,
his
the
safe
orbital
cover.
strike.
The orbital strike now goes in and lands down, able to call out the bomb. Darian does not
No
have
time.
any more time. No
Hey,
health
nice the
remaining
handle from
either,
Bane.
and Bane
He's
just
been great
patient
this
in
one.
the
He's been
clutch.
really, really good.
Bane's calculation
He's
on the
normally
timing
been
for
like
the volley, I
a
thought he was just
he's normally
tossing
been
it
like a
early to
very
make sure he could cover the
consistent
flank, but it was
fragger. I think this is
perfect.
the first
It
match
stays
where I've seen him
online all
like
the way to the end, and then he's got
heavy
the
above
orbital
and
strike.
beyond frag.
I mean,
Like he's
very,
he's
very
22
well read.
to 7.
Obviously, the couple kills help as well for Bane, but it's tough to get through here. And now on Foxy9, they're on the showers. I mean, they had a bit of a mind game between him and Scary, trying to go for wall shots against each other. But Foxy9 knew, because of where the tracers were coming in from, that he was continuously pushing him backwards. And then he just takes the lead.
What?
Bane just having
That's
fun
not
here.
a pop-off.
Oh,
That was
man.
awesome and monstrous from Bane. I mean, you're absolutely right. He's miles ahead, streets ahead, and ahead of Bleed right now. If Retla got the drop against him, then that might have been a different story. But unfortunately, that's not quite meant to be just yet. A bit of a judge buy from Bleed, but of course they're also
you
pushing
want to hold
out
on to the
with
gun.
some upgraded pistols.
Oh, he pushes to the gun.
It's going to be a contest for market, and Bleed continues
He
to
took a
march
big
up front.
risk
They've
there. He
managed
gets
to
the
make a
gun. Why
trade
not?
happen. They're looking to pick up a weapon. And
Surprised they
they've
didn't
managed
take
to
too
do
much
that. Ye will
control
get
elsewhere. They
lapped
saw a
with
lot
that
of
man.
But
numbers.
with that, Bleed, their ideal scenario was that you make them panic, drop a weapon, and force them to rush into A, making it look like A's weak. But now that time has passed and you didn't see all 5 members, there wasn't a push out of B main. DRX has to be very wary of this. But
Oh, that's cross
that's
map.
a lineup from Retla.
Yeah, that
Takes
is
down
cross
Bane
map.
from afar.
Wonderful stuff. I mean, he does it from defender spawn. And now we got a plant coming right back in, but it's a 3-on-4 scenario. You've got quite a bit of utility as well, though, so I wouldn't count DRX just yet. Bleed has to be very
We
careful
push
with
into
how they
the
wanna take
judge?
these fights.
Yeah.
Now just holding up around the judge. They're denying DRX any form of
This
sight
is a
control.
nice round
So
from
a bit
them.
Of kills. Ye in with the paint shells.
Big
and
round.
the final shot from the top
Really
of
good for their
heaven.
econ
Ye
as well.
coming
So everyone
through
getting the
to put
upgrade.
Bleed back
4
on the
people
board.
alive.
A great push out from Hookah. Just very patient from
That's what I'm
Scary.
saying,
I love
man.
that he
Imagine, like,
never peeks out. He never thinks,
Like, look
"Oh,
at
do
this
you
and
think
take
they're
out
in
the
site now?"
pistols,
Like,
right?
no.
It's
You know what, if they
6-6,
plan,
then
they
honestly
plan.
give
I
them a
only get
pistol,
kill. Yeah, I
give them a
only get a
pistol
kill if
each,
they
it's
come
like
into
8-8.
lamps. And the thing is he
Maybe
was
they would have
tagging
had
the
more
0
chance to
point.
snowball.
Foxy 9 knew
Oh, that's
that somebody was there. That's a
relatively
great
easy
lineup.
lineup.
You
It's
gotta
nice.
study that.
Yeah, but I mean, Foxy 9, he just gets a little bit too curious. It's good utility on the retake as well from Bleed. And you know that if you give them that opening, that they will strike back. So DRX, now that things have stabilized a bit, you got to start to think long term, right? Okay, maybe we can't close it out too fast. You got to start to do a little bit of conditioning because the early couple rounds, it was determined on the early duels.
I gotta love this from Bleed, though. They are taking the initiative up against DRX, not allowing them to set up a round
the
too long,
reload.
but Mako caught in the reload. Ye has to step
But I
back. and Mako
think
just
that does
capitalizes on
someone
that
else
moment.
not need to be
suspect this.
like commit swinging
have
with him
to.
there?
Bleed thinks
Like,
that
why-
they
why have
made
I got
enough
2
noise to
extra
make it look
people
like
here?
they returned, but Bane's
And no
already
one
at the
else
site.
extra
They have
swinging.
no idea.
No, I thought he was watching the angle, but Bane, he just swings up from
The
behind.
recovery, man. It's
Double
like he
kill
gave
from
him.
Microflix.
It's like he
Bane is
gave
on
him
a
5
tear on
warning
this map.
shots, and then was like,
Even
okay,
with the
now
incendiary
I
just
am.
to block off Retla. What can you do
The
against
recovery
this?
was good.
Dude, Bane's resets are so
Yeah,
good
it was
on
a solid
his aim.
reset.
It's 24 kills right now.
Yeah,
Only 8 deaths.
As a Brimstone, Buzz has been very quiet this game. And
Bleed
Bane
win
just
1,
says,
they
"It's
lose
all right,
the
I'll do
next,
it
so
again.
their
I'll help carry
money
the
gets
team again."
reset. But again,
Doing
with
for
4
you,
of them
big
picking up
Yeah,
guns
I mean,
last
Bane,
round,
you know,
they're still
he
decent.
talked his talk in the winner's interview last time. He said, you know, I got to help carry some of my older brothers here. Made it look like they needed a lot of help, but boy, is he backing it up. We got a lot of people on stage this last weekend of the regular split, talking the talk and walking the walk. Bane's one of
Why is
them.
Mako just
Really
laughing
gotta
all the time?
admire how he
Going on
manages
there.
to make this work on the controller roll.
I
At
mean, it's
times,
just-
it's the calculations. The,
Yeah,
other
I
times,
Dude, look at them.
he
They're all
peeks out
having the
the sky
best time.
Yeah, it's the decision that he chooses to go into hookah.
Bane's the
nice and
guy
early,
who says
right?
he's
see the push
Elsus,
out.
right?
Instead of saying, hey, I'll come back you guys up all the way back, let's create our own crossfire, he just says,
This
listen,
is
back
cracking
off, chill off.
jokes.
Not sure why Foxy 9 died there. That's a bit of a problem. But we won't focus on it too much. And he just digs in deep, right? Because you've already lost 2
I mean,
people.
they kind of
You wanna make
need,
sure the
they
sniper's
kind of
spotted
needed
as well.
the,
You wanna make
kind
sure
of
that
need
you
to stay
trap
alive
them in
there
there,
in terms
create
of
an opening.
Foxy. He's too busy laughing.
What? He said something was 200 when he was a teen.
What does
I
that
think
mean?
maybe something about his score or his reaction
Okay.
scenes, but I didn't hear the beginning part. But no, I think just saying that he's always had the mechanical skill to be there.
All right, one way or another. I mean, now Zest is on the other side. DRX has some open slots, and Bane just fills those shoes really, really well. Again, only 8 deaths, 24 kills, and now DRX potentially knocking on the door of map point. I love that Bleed is trying to be proactive, but what can you do when DRX is just on the ball with things?
The jump peak gets spotted. Can't be as liberal with those guiding lights anymore with the current sky.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Realistically,
This
chat,
pop flash
right?
gonna
This
be
should
right
be a
over the wall.
round.
All right,
And
just
then
for
this would be a
Octagon first. They
reset.
had the earlier one for right over the wall. See if they go for it time and time again.
0 point
They
lands
let them
perfectly
take
as well. They
long,
know that they've
which
hit
means we get a
Red Line at the very
Razor.
least.
And here's the thing, that they were pinging for the Dizzy over the wall as well, right, for that counter flash. And they don't see it come out, so they're
Rotate
thinking,
comes
okay,
in.
no pop flashes in sight, but there's one. The ante's ready.
Wow!
DRX not ever letting go.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Oi, double molly.
The incendiary kind of catches them at the choke point as they try to walk through. So a bit of a barbecue roast for Bleed right now, and DRX
with all the ults there, did they need to make a play? Does it matter?
A bit of a fake, and Bleed just continues to
Respect.
put in the pressure. Redla
Dude, that molly tanked them with the wall.
2 more to find that 3rd kill. Bleed not dropping
Dude,
just yet.
that's a big round. This could be
that-
close now.
That hold right there.
They kept
especially once you-
2 good
once you hear the
ults.
TPS, well, yeah, the lineups have been good. But hey, you got double controllers, you got to use them, right? If you don't have a Sentinel, you got to make sure that you can support pretty globally. That's what makes some of these controllers so
bro.
good. That's what makes Viper so amazing on almost every map.
Where's the
in current
Viper
map
molly
pool.
from?
That's why Astra for a while was so strong. It's about the global presence. And now you're having that with the lineups. You love to see it from Bleed, catching up 7-11.
Double molly
now
was
got the
good.
showstopper for Ye as well. Another
The
broken
official,
buy from
yeah.
DRX.
I mean,
You just know that if
at least
you
they
keep your
secure the rounds, I
distance,
guess.
you get that early info. This round should be yours, Bleed.
Bleed is definitely capable of it. I mean, that previous
When did
round,
they
that
actually pop
was
it? I didn't even notice the I
green
didn't
flame.
notice the
So it was
sound key, to
combination
be
of
honest with
utility,
you.
both the snakebite and the incendiary I just noticed. Buzz tries to dive in though, tries to play off of pacing
I love
to
that.
try to
don't
get the
even-
drop on Bleed.
Yeah, they don't even repeat
1
it, right?
HP
They don't,
planning.
no reason to repeat
Wow.
it. Force him out of there.
And then off the orbital strike too, Ye pulls out the rockets, now kind of trying
And
to
gets
look
the heal
for
on
the
this
Viper
one.
spin
Mako
deployer,
has double
but
molly.
unfortunately, Mako just still stays
Put the
tucked
Viper
away.
ult
Spike
into an
still
eco.
ticking off.
Tell
Bane
me they
from-
don't lose this though. I
Bane
mean, this
from
Viper
short
goes
finds
down.
a kill
This
with
Viper
his
goes down right
ghost.
now.
Still got Snakebite as well.
Okay, Mako.
I mean, time is not on Bleed's side. They can't wait
Yeah,
for all
and the
utility to land. 'cause
smoke
It's going to be a little while.
Isn't even here,
Redla
right?
pushes up.
No,
We'll
it
be able to
isn't.
eliminate that shower's angle at the very least. But
takes
look
out
at the
Wingman.
spike. I mean, it's still up there, and it's
Wait,
taken
someone's
away.
gotta-
Zest comes in just at the right time. Bane
Oh,
cannot find
okay.
the angle.
Don't
He's
go close, though.
Smoked off completely, and Bleed, who, along with the teamwork this time, manages to sneak around away once more.
DRX might even call a
Dude,
timeout here.
Zest wasn't on
It
point.
wouldn't-
Yeah, with that timing.
Old
Here's
Tommy
the
definitely
thing is,
wouldn't.
I think
New
Bleed
Tommy,
was counting
maybe.
on the fact that little bro is not going to get taken down by the second Snakebite. So I think they were trying to exploit that
I think he
advantage
has,
that
man.
they have. But the shots were perfect. Wingman goes down instantly.
So it's a little bit of like panic, a little bit of nerves, but at the very least, you have enough players. Zest, able to read the situation correctly, makes the decision to sit on that spike. And
Yeah,
of course
look at
the
him
coaches
go.
heave a sigh of relief.
I love that little head tilt. Look, he was like, you know what? We
alright.
take those, you know? I mean, it was a little dicey, but overall, still good, right? Doesn't panic on the Viper's pick.
Force the
Don't just
timeout
try
out
to
of
barrel
him.
through. I love that Ye doesn't hold on to the showstopper just for the Viper because he spots stacks and he just says, I gotta send it. We gotta clear out this opening part early, and then you accept. Okay, the lineups are gonna come. They're probably on their way. How do we make sure that we can defuse immediately afterwards? You send in the Wingman on that second Snakebite, draws out some gunfire, so you know where they're positioned.
It's changed, dude.
Overall,
I like this.
I know some people are
2024
thinking,
Tommy
like,
is
it's not
sick,
like Bleed's
bro.
playing out of their mind. It's not like they're bringing out a new meta.
Jersey
But overall, it's a
wearing,
big
hoodie
improvement,
wearing.
right? From the
Timeouts
previous
are
weeks, that
here.
they're really getting
Good
some
time
good reads
as
on
well,
what
the
DRX
timeouts.
wants to do, and more than anything, I mean, listen, they are playing to their comp's advantages, and you love to see that.
Those lineups, Zest and Darian as well, double
Maybe just
initiators.
everyone
Here's the
showed him
thing, I mean,
like,
Snakes and Buzz are
maybe
sitting
everyone
at
just
6
showed him.
kills.
They
They're
showed him
getting shut down,
plat
right?
chat
With
with just
13
Bren
deaths.
going in.
Bleed's doing
Or maybe
whatever
they showed him
can
like all
to
the
try to get
VLR
back
forums.
into
They're
the
like,
lead.
look, man,
That's an incredible point.
you're a big
I
meme
didn't
right now.
notice that until now.
Gotta call some
Bleed
timeouts,
have
bro.
been doing such a good
Somebody's got to
job at
change
making
here.
sure that DRX doesn't have any safe entries, but this is the round after
Like, you're
Coach
literally-
Turner's timeout.
Oh, there's no
As
drones
to
here.
where
a changed
the
man.
adjustment is. No drones, no nothing, but a good
Wait,
pop
this is
flash
a just
along from
open
Stacks.
site though.
Sets
What
up
the
for
hell
Buzz's
is this
success, and
setup?
now they have a little bit more space. That flash just pushed Ye all the way back through the teleporter. So now DRX has the timing for the spike plant.
Dude, you
against
can't even
Bleed.
retake this.
Stax' flashes have been so good, and now the post plant, not the best for Bleed. You even have that operator. Sure,
Okay,
you have
I
the
like
Seekers, but we'll see. Paint shows just to try to disperse him a little bit. Trailblazer trying to clear out early
Oh,
on.
I love
way
the
up. He
I
gets
love the call from
spotted.
DRX. Don't
And
get me
that's
wrong,
just the
but
wall bang right through the corner. Ye has no idea.
My goodness, Buzz just continues to thread the needle. Unfortunate for Ye, but at the very least, Seeker sent out.
Flash didn't even get close to hitting over towards site as well. This did not look like a great round.
Gets off of his sniper's nest and continues to move around now.
Dude, this team might be unstoppable now.
So they
New
don't
strats.
have the option. Gonna have to tuck
Timeouts at a good time.
DRX, they will reach map
New kids fragging heavy.
Yeah, overall, listen, Bleed, they have the creds. They had to go for it, right? Even though it was a tough
4
one,
chances
even
left,
using the Seekers,
and
the idea
I
was
mean we
sound.
just
You
get
send the
this.
Seekers, then
We just
try
get this
for a
all
really high
online.
pop
We got
flash. The guiding light actually doesn't quite make it over the corner,
25
so
to
it doesn't
10.
flash buzz. But you're drawing all this attention over to defender spawn, because that way you can set up for elbow.
That's a
You go
nice
for the
strat
double
though,
flash
to be
with the
fair,
Dizzy.
especially if
The idea
they're
was
constantly
all
throwing
there,
the
but
smoke on
unfortunately, a couple
default.
misses on the util and
Like
not
you
able
got
to
to be
get the
scared
early
of that
duels.
pop flash
The
through.
retake falls, they'll escape with the operator. That still gets them the buys to try to counteract this map point on DRX's pick.
At the same time, I mean, it's also that timeout from Coach Termy. You know, he just kind of gets a
Knife
read
goes over
for
towards
Bleed
Showers, they
setups,
hit
and
too.
They just make that call for Stacks to pop
Pipe
flash
hole
through,
goes in.
get control over B long, and they managed to walk through that.
Yeah, they wanted to
Because
send
of that,
it
they
B,
managed
but
to
then
get the send
Viper
the previous
goes in
round,
and they
but
call up over to.
now we've got Retla with
Yeah,
the Viper
they
spin.
call up over
We've
towards
got
A.
Ye on the operator up around A short. We're controlling both extremities. You've got that toxic screen just out around Showers as well. DRX are scratching their heads.
Yeah, and look at Bleed's control, right? You said it's extremities, and they have the information.
Whoa.
Yeah, overall, it's just a short giving up. Buzz does fly through, but Scary's waiting there
Nice
right
though,
with him.
just
At an
calls
off
for his
angle, he should have
teammate.
a better angle here as well. You'll pick up Bane.
Good hold. All down to Mako. Able to isolate the first duel, but still, dude, like 4 targets, Will.
I mean, Mako's done it before. It would be crazy.
40 seconds.
But if there's anyone to clutch on DRX, it's always been Mako. He does get spotted. That makes things significantly more difficult. He will get a third with the op.
I wanted to believe, but yeah, that op was a little bit
It's
too
3
impressive, and
chances.
now
At least they know
DRX
that the op is
very
here.
aware
Are they just going to do
these
the same
duels
round
and
where they
these kind
burst
of
over
rounds.
towards long?
Got that toxic screen. It's always something that, you know, extends out through Showers. You're always going to wonder how, or if you should even go in for Showers control. And then you've got this op in addition to that.
The op shots have been good, so
Yeah,
I'm
getting
glad that
active.
they're
Yeah,
able to try
dude, he
to
just
stick
looks
with this,
so
that they're
much
able to
better
carry
with an
it
op,
through, 'cause
though.
that's what they'll need.
Not a
move
kickoff. Like
forward. Now,
kickoff,
they did
the
use an
op
ultimate as
didn't
well.
look great.
And a timeout
But
comes out from Bleed.
I feel like this
Curious
split now
to
when he
see
gets an op,
what
he
Lugia
looks.
heard in that last
That's when he
round.
actually looks like.
Because
Yeah, we-
overall, I mean,
old
listen,
school.
the pit, I thought the holds were pretty good, right? You get the
Yeah.
pit, you get the nice peek from Ye, and at that point, they actually chose to leave short open. That was the only part, because they had hookah cover with a toxic screen. You had Zest spotting for Rutlock.
If only there was a
Side of
character
B,
where you could use
had
op a lot of the
Showers
time.
control.
Yeah, man.
So it almost felt like
If
they purposely
only.
herded DRX into a short. So I thought it was pretty good, but
was
maybe it's
good.
something in the comms, or
Would it be better if he played Chamber?
Trying to get a read on what
In my
DRX is
opinion,
coming up with
yeah.
in the next rounds
Like,
with the ultimates
obviously,
and
yeah.
things like that on the timings.
You are absolutely right, Will. I have to imagine this is some sort of a preemptive timeout because you are looking at just 3 rounds to push this into overtime. Bleed can taste it. Bleed can smell it. And they definitely
Can
want to
players
make it
talk in the
happen.
coach's
I mean,
timeout?
if you
Yeah, that's why you
push,
see them not talking
DRX
sometimes.
into that breeze
And you're
you
just like,
have
why
a
is this guy
map
called a
against them,
timeout if he's just
you
not going
might
to talk? Because
actually be able
he's
to
probably
take
been
this win,
talking and
Victoria
then
might actually
they're
be
like
able to get a
replying
prediction
back.
right.
There is a
There's a
chance. It's
chance.
still alive. It's still alive. There's that orbital strike online for Bane.
How's
So
the
one thing that you
NRG
definitely have to
EG game is
consider
an absolute
is that there
banger.
can be
It
a
was an absolute
very,
banger.
very hard
It's
post
worth
plan set up
watching.
here from DRX. That's something that Bleed will have to be prepared for. They've already lost control of Showers. That Cam online finally fights for it back.
Huh. Foxy 9, just a little bit around Showers. We're still
a good
going in
sync
for
fight.
that.
Do they
stable.
literally just
Saw the foot. and
do they
the
literally
angle.
just do this
But
long
a great jump
long
peek,
strat when they
and,
have
it's
an
a little
op?
bit tough to land the
Like
shot.
they know they're up against an op and
But
they
at
just
the very least now,
hit over
DRX is
towards the
very
site,
aware.
hit over
Got
towards
that
long.
operator up around B. How do we work
I think
against
it's nice.
Okay, they
We used to
drew
do
out
similar
both
stuff.
sight lines.
We
Yeah,
used to
that's actually
literally,
really
because we didn't have an
and they don't know
IGL
how
in
many crosses.
Liquid,
This is
we
a
literally
crossfire
just
set up
used
for
to be
Ye.
like,
It's a lot of pressure.
we had set
and there should
fast
be another pop
strats.
flash coming. It's right
Where
over
if
the
you're
wall.
playing
No,
against
no
an op,
strike.
you just send
Orbital
it.
strike. It pushes Ye off. Buzz will dive in. The trades come through. Mako, a bit with a double. Zest manages to hold down 3. We're back to a 2-on-2. Through the teleporter goes Foxy
Tell you what, I even
9,
think the
just to
timeout. I
rendezvous
think
with his
the
teammate.
timeout here. I'm
Spike
pretty
goes
sure
down, and they are
Lagia
now
knew they
trying
were
to
going to do
control
the
the
long
site.
strat
Mako
again, where you had the op
doesn't
just
have any
holding
more
for
snake
it
bites left.
in a position which
Yeah,
would
no
have
post
dodged
plan
the
to worry
flash.
about in terms of
I'm pretty
lineups,
sure the
but they earned
timeout was good
TP. I
here.
love Foxy 9's rotate over to main. You're making them think that it's going to be a split onto Hookah.
We got
Only Mako
smoke
shown so far.
and-
And he lands the first shot and the second as well. 4K
Okay.
for Mako to wrap it up 13-9.
Dude, why would they smoke here and not the spike when you have Wingman?
Bleed has stuck it in. Bleed has
I one smoke and we did it hookah instead of the site.
For DRX, but DRX just comes back in with the strats, with the callouts.
That's it, dude. Give him a pistol round, and this is a close map.
A great showing from DRX to